here's Brody Brazil.
So I've got some good news for you if you are a baseball fan, and if you've got about $2 billion lying around, there is the possibility you might be able to buy the San Diego Padres. The Seidler family is about to go through the process of exploring a potential sale. It's not a certainty. It's never advertised that way. But it does kind of feel like $2 billion, if it were to happen, might be the asking and selling price as of these days. And what a bargain, actually. $2 billion as a Major League Baseball team goes. That team, that ballpark, that market, that ability to step in and potentially win something within the next several years. I'm not kidding. That actually is a pretty good deal considering where the market probably is right now. But I want to talk about a lot of different things here as we discuss the potential sale of the San Diego Padres. This is from John Seidler. This is Peter's son, his eldest child, saying, quote, "The family has decided to begin a process of evaluating our future with the Padres, including a potential sale of the franchise. We will undertake this process with integrity and professionalism in a way that honors Peter's legacy and love for the Padres and lays the foundation for the franchise's long-term success." By the way, I should step back and remind you, if you didn't know already, Peter Seidler was the owner of the Padres. He passed away 2 Novembers ago, almost exactly 2 years ago, I think, to the date of this announcement. During the process and as we prepare for the 2026 season, the Padres will continue to focus on its players, employees, fans, and community while putting every resource into winning a World Series championship. We remain fully committed to this team, its fans, and the San Diego community. That again is from John Seidler, the eldest Seidler child of the family. A little bit of background here on the Padres' history. Of course, they came into Major League Baseball as an expansion franchise. In 1969, they've only known San Diego as their home. Jack Murphy Stadium over to Petco Park. It's beautiful. It is such a surreal setting for Major League Baseball in San Diego. Peter Seidler bought into the team in 2012 for about $800 million. Peter Seidler took over as the team's control person after the 2020 season, so he was a majority owner, just never took that role until after 2020, and then unfortunately he passed away in November of 2023. His business partner, Eric Kutsenda, was the control person for the 2024 baseball season right after Peter's passing, and then his eldest sibling, I take it back, the eldest sibling of the Seidler family, his eldest child, John Seidler, was named the chairperson prior to the 2025 season. And that was John's statement you saw earlier. So the Seidler family deciding to make this decision collectively on behalf of Peter, who has passed away. And I just want to step back and say this about Peter Seidler. I'm about to read a quote here from Yu Darvish, Major League Baseball player. A lot of people had such high regard and praise for Peter Seidler as a Major League Baseball owner. Sometimes there's a disconnect. Oh, the owner's just the person who pays the bills and writes the checks, and we don't see this person. We don't know if they care. We don't know much about them. But from everything that I observed being around the baseball community, Peter Seidler was well-loved and well-respected, and I'll just read what Yu Darvish wrote on social media right after he learned of Peter's passing 2 years ago. "My heart hurts with the unfortunate news of Peter Seidler's passing. I'm sure everyone that knew him would agree with me when I say Peter was a truly wonderful human being, and being in his presence was always a blessing. He was a teacher of life and taught me countless lessons from all the interactions we had. May his beautiful soul rest in peace." Again, that's Yu Darvish and what he had to say immediately after the passing of Peter Seidler. And great person, great legacy with the Padres. San Diego has made the playoffs in 4 of their last 6 years, and they've been spending a ton. I'll get to that in a second. They just haven't got to the ultimate goal of like what the Dodgers just accomplished in back-to-back seasons. I'm not rubbing it in there. I'm just saying like the Padres have been spending and getting a lot of good results here. Consecutive 90-plus win seasons for the first time in franchise history. They drew 3.437 million fans to Petco Park in 2025. They sold out 72 of 81 home games. They won a lot of games. They brought in a lot of fans. I imagine their business is going quite well. They're paying a healthy amount. 2022, they paid the 4th most payroll in baseball, $224 million. Then in 23, they went up still the fifth most at 256. That number took a little bit of a dip in 2024 down to $172 million, but still good enough for eighth overall in Major League Baseball payrolls. And this past season, 2025, $223 million towards players, sixth most in all of Major League Baseball. San Diego is not the biggest city, but they're doing big things. They're trying to make this push. They're spending on players. They're getting attention, getting notoriety, getting a lot of wins. They're not just getting those ultimate final results in the postseason like they're hoping for. I also want to pass along here a couple other interesting things I found while doing research for this presentation via NBC7. They're the television channel in San Diego. They point out a couple different things here that I really thought were worth passing along here. Before his passing, Peter Seidler said he wanted to have the team in the Seidler family's hands for generations to come. But here they are, about 2 years removed from his passing, and they are moving on from the team. Now, maybe they might remain as some type of partial owner of the club, maybe not majority owner of the team. I don't know what the sales circumstances are going to be, but it is interesting. That's something Peter wanted for the family, and now maybe they have just reached the decision they're not into this. They can't handle this. It was Peter's thing. It's not everybody else's thing. More thoughts on that later to come. But I thought that was interesting that they're not doing maybe what Peter had hoped for prior to his passing. Also a Padres spokesperson told NBC7 that the club does not want to comment further, but says it's a very safe assumption / assurance that there would be a provision in the sale that prohibits a new owner from relocating the club. I just have to say, that's the saddest thing ever that in this day and age here in 2025, we need to include that because we know how quickly teams threaten to leave their cities, how quickly they might leave their city. The Padres lease is up here in not too many years. The club also has a lease, they say, with Petco Park that runs through 2033 that would be prohibitive in any kind of move. But I'll be honest, if that baseball team walks out of Petco Park in 2034, I will lose my mind. For any reason that another team would be leaving San Diego, great market, they totally back the team. It's a great location. There are so many great things about this. If there's any reason they walk away, it's a very bad reason from San Diego. But my point is, crazy that that's something we even need to think about and worry about in this current Major League Baseball and sports climate. Also this, and this might be the biggest part, and it kind of leads to some of my takeaways here from the NBC article. The timing of this announcement, the sale, the exploration of a sale, is a bit curious. MLB free agency started a week ago, and historically, players have had trepidations about teams with ownership instability. That's true. Players are a little bit concerned like, well, if the ownership's going to change, are they still going to spend the same way? Are they still going to view my contract, good or bad, in the same way? If you have changes at the top, there are changes probably all the way around. That's what leads players to being a little uncertain when the situation isn't so well established. Industry experts also expect, and I expect this too, a lockout to come after the 2026 season as a new collective bargaining agreement is negotiated. That process is expected to have an impact on baseball's financial landscape and could prompt any potential buyers of the team to wait until they know exactly what kind of situation they're buying into. And as the Minnesota Twins had put themselves up for sale and then taken themselves off the market, I kind of thought, well, yeah, who would want to be buying into a Major League Baseball team right now? The uncertainty of the work stoppage, the loss of money inherently from the work stoppage. Do you want to buy a car that needs repair, like before it's actually fixed? Do you want to go buy that car? It literally is kind of like that. So I don't know if the potential looming, like almost guaranteed lockout at this point, starting on December 2nd, 2026, will that impact the opportunity, or will a potential buyer of this team say, hey, this only comes up once in a lifetime. This is my chance to buy in and own a Major League Baseball team. Or does it hurt the sale price, knowing that whoever buys this team is going to have to probably go through a little bit of tough sledding from the business side with a potential lockout? And if there's a lockout that misses an entire baseball season, financially, what does that cost? How about growing the game all over again? What are the ramifications of all that? Definitely something to think about. All right, let's get to my takeaways here. Number one, the Forbes valuation here in 2025 of the Padres says they're worth about $1.95 billion. And again, crazy that is 17th in Major League Baseball. If you look at the other 16 teams ahead of the Padres, some make sense. They're in a bigger market. They've got bigger name players. They've got the ability to probably make more money than the Padres do, some of these teams. But other ones just don't make sense. I think even like the Chicago White Sox are ahead of the San Diego Padres. Is it all about the city you play in? What about the team that you are, the fan base that you have compiled and put together? Is it all about media market size? It is kind of crazy to figure all that part out. But if we're going on valuation, a lot of times these estimated dollar amounts are true when a team goes up for sale and what they're ultimately sold for. So $1.95 billion, sub $2 billion. Again, all things considered and what you're buying into, this is not the worst deal in the world. I'm not buying it, but for whoever has that type of money, it's not the worst deal in the world. I also want to say on behalf of the Seidler family, if they don't feel suited to own the team, if this isn't for them, I totally understand, and I give them credit for recognizing that, coming to a difficult decision, maybe against the wishes of what their dad, their grandpa, whoever is involved in that decision-making process. I actually give them a lot of credit that they're ready to move on. And they realize, they look in the mirror that this is not for them and they can't carry the weight of that legacy and they can't do it like their dad would have wanted to. So I actually give them a lot of credit if, in fact, they're passing on and knowing that that's not exactly what their dad would have wanted, but it's best for the team and it's best for everybody involved. The last thing you want is an ownership group that doesn't care about baseball, doesn't want to have baseball, doesn't want to be around baseball, wants nothing to do with it. Feels like there are some other teams in baseball who have owners just like that. And you know who they are. I'm not going to say who they are. The San Diego fan base right now is in their element. They are bought in. They're showing up. They're in it for the players. They love coming to games. Like, you are buying into something with expectations right now in the San Diego Padres. This isn't a team that, well, we'll fix them up and we'll be ready to go in 5 years. No, they are in like win right now mode, and they want to give themselves a chance in 2026. So will the Padres, with potential new ownership, and I'm assuming, right, that all of this would go through in 6 months, and I don't think it's going to happen that way. I should have made this a takeaway. My estimation on this, probably like a year-long process at least. And if it does take a year, that leads us right into December 2nd, 2026, which could be the start of a Major League Baseball lockout. So, who's going to buy in? What are they willing to do? Will they keep spending at this clip? Because honestly, the Padres weren't really the Padres like they are now until the Seidler family, Peter Seidler, decided to start spending on the Padres and put a great team at that ballpark. What does the future hold for the San Diego team and fan base? I'd love to know what you think in the comments section below with this San Diego shakeup. Put your comments down below. Also, thumbs up while you're down there. That helps me, this video, and this channel. I really appreciate it. And if you're new here, nice to see you. Glad to have this moment with you. I would love if you come back next time. And the best way to make that happen is for you to hit that subscribe button like right now. See you next time.